the recent announcement by President Trump via the Federal Aviation Administration, making a warning to all airmen that they should be cautious when flying Mexico, Central America, and South America. And this is for 60 days, more or less, from now through mid-March. Is concerning at several levels. One, because of course it creates havoc, it makes us uncomfortable, it makes people to be afraid to travel, and is that a state of being unsettled that people in power use very often to manipulate and to get their way, right? There is one. The other one, this is only a warning, but it could be the beginning of an aerial attack to Mexico. I happen to be from Sinaloa and Sonora, the two states in the Pacific where for many decades, narcos, have lived. The Cartel de Sinaloa, I'm sure you've heard. Back in the day, when I was growing up, the whole business of illegal drugs, selling and transporting and smuggling illegal drugs was the market of Colombia. I'm sure many of you will agree. And Mexico was the middleman. And somehow Mexico took over. And so cartels in Sinaloa, Sonora, and now the Cartel de Jalisco, which is another state, the state of Jalisco, so have made that route through the U.S. But there is something I have always known and conveyed, and it went like this to people, nobody really paid attention, is that for that amount of drugs and for that amount of clients and customers and drug users in the US, there has to be a strong system of distribution, selling, accounting, and so on, just like with any product, right? And so in the US, there must be also other participants that is so quiet here, right? It is always Mexico, the worst, the narcos, the criminals. But to my huge surprise and understanding at this point of my life is that this corruption and this level of narco trafficking also exists in the US. And last, many people believe that perhaps all of this is a distraction because what's really going on that needs to happen is the release of the Epstein files. And so, meanwhile, Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum is standing up and is, which I agree, Mexico is an autonomous state and the US has no business going into Mexico. Remember many, many years ago when the president of Mexico, his last name was Santana, Texas, Arizona, California, Oregon were Mexican territory, and they took it over. So what is now? Some of us believe is the lithium. Sonora has lithium. What is it? Do they want to also take more land? Is that what the U.S. wants? It is unsettling. It is difficult because I love the U.S., but I love the good people in the U.S., the good policies, the socially conscious systems that have sustained this world. No country is perfect, and no country is so good that there is no corruption. As someone from Sinaloa who grew up seeing narcos back then, we didn't even know what the business was, but we knew they existed. El Indio Romero, El Cochiloco, and others in Sinaloa. This whole thing about now, that's happening now, is unsettling. And I'm going to circle back to the announcement by the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, the warning, which is not at this point a mandate, but a warning that before anybody superficially makes a comment and before anybody thinks that this is so good that the U.S. is coming to save Mexico, please learn the history of all this relationship between Mexico and the U.S. for centuries, especially these last 2 centuries. understand the complexities of that back and forth. And remember that while many people think that President Trump all of a sudden is saving the world, many of us disagree completely. Millions disagree, especially because some of the principles that have sustain and make this world a little more civilized, he just do not care. Just as a private citizen, this is more thinking, there is, wow, wow. For President Trump to be able to get away with so many things, there are many Republicans and many millionaires sustaining him, and there are many other heads of states and other countries supporting him. And so what do we do, right? What do we private citizens do? I think we gotta create our own just world. I think we gotta do what is possible in our scope, but I also think we must strive to be critical thinkers and not just to take any information without thinking, like really researching on our own. And wow, what a Saturday, huh? Well, have a good day. And hopefully all of this is not taking us away from enjoying this long weekend in the US.